Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Most of us think that Al-Qaeda is an organization made up of small, clandestine, violent cells that periodically launch terrorist attacks. In reality, the violent jihadis are just the tip of the iceberg. Al-Qaeda is just one part of an international jihad movement that is much more sophisticated than that. In fact, most of its members and supporters constitute an international support structure of mosques, charities, Islamic institutions, schools, and fraternal organizations. This support structure is, in effect, a giant production line that constantly produces Salafi jihadi activists and terrorists. For the most part, however, we as a nation have ignored this wing of the jihad. I think you'll find this segment interesting and enlightening. The actual concept of what the jihad is all about is more like the picture of this iceberg that you see here in the slide in front of you. The jihad movement, like the iceberg, the majority of the jihad movement is hidden below the surface. You're going to be introduced to this man, Sayyid Abdul al-Maududi, in this particular series, and you'll find out that he's one of the key Salafi ideologues of the modern era. In the 1940s, he wrote, "In the jihad in the way of Allah, active combat is not always the role on the battlefield, nor can everyone fight in the front line. While only some thousands fight in the front line, there are behind them millions engaged in various tasks which, though small themselves, contribute directly to the supreme effort." And this is the situation that we find ourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. We ignore the giant international machine that creates these individuals. Now, what proof do we have that Al-Qaeda is following suit? And in the Knights Under the Prophet's Banner, which this man, Ayman al-Zawahiri, Osama bin Laden's number 2 man, wrote in December 2001, what does he say? Does he say, we're just about nothing but violence, we're just about individuals who are going out and doing attacks? Or is he creating a larger, more sophisticated organization? Well, in the Knights Under the Prophet's Banner, he wrote this: "The jihad movement must dedicate one of its wings to work with the masses, preach, provide services for the Muslim people, and share their concerns through all available avenues for charity and educational work. We must not leave a single area unoccupied." But is he talking about just individuals who go out and commit violent acts? No. So this isn't just a one-off sort of comment. This is the beginning of a consistent series of statements that show us a trend within Al-Qaeda that we've pretty much as a nation ignored. So again, here 4 years later, in a document entitled "The Freeing of Humanity in the Homelands," Ayman al-Zawahiri again is calling for people to rally, but not rally as individual or groups of violent terrorists, but rallying in order to educate the Ummah, to show the Ummah the dangers facing them, and inciting the Ummah to resist. Now again, in December 21st, 2006, Between Islam and Disbelief is the name of the document, Ayman al-Zawahiri directs students, missionaries, and professionals to conduct specific non-jihad tasks, making those institutions support structures for the international jihad movement. He wants them to spread the ideology, probably the most important aspect of all of this support structure. And that's where we've missed the train, because while we're going after these individual terrorists, we're not going after the giant international mechanism that includes not only Al-Qaeda, but organizations such as the Muslim Brotherhood and others to create the activists and the jihadis that will go out and conduct those attacks. So as a nation, we really haven't come to grips with this whole nonviolent ideological threat. And this is really the most important aspect of the threat, because it's the machine that creates people like Anwar al-Awlaki, Nidal Hassan, Faisal Shahzad, and Umar Farouk. So this is what we're going to be talking about during this series, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into quite some detail on what radicalization is and the components of radicalization and the people involved in radicalization. And we're going to end up showing you that national Muslim American Muslim organizations are systematically and methodically teaching their next generation leaders Salafi jihadi ideology.